Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? We have been watching quite a bit of this Grimm, the note, and as of right now, I'm pretty convinced that this show is going to have some weird twists that I don't see coming because as of right now, it just feels way too convenient how many times we get, the characters really just showing us different sides of the coin, not to mention the Chaos Teller this week pretty much telling us a very interesting bit of information about how she sees Chaos Telling, and to be fair, she sees all of our characters as the main villains of her story. So, as of right now, it's getting very interesting in that aspect, in my opinion. And just to see where it's all going to end up, it's pretty much my entertainment at the end of the day now. So, this week's episode, we are dealing with an Ice Queen, and supposedly the story has to deal with someone getting a shard of a cursed mirror in their eyes and pretty much losing their personality and who they were. And because of that, the Ice Queen wants to use that to her advantage to get the brother or the sister, in this case, to be pretty much miserable and watch that happen as she then keeps one of them under a contract to quote unquote remove the piece of the mirror out, but they have to be like under the contract 100% with her. So, with all that being said, that's pretty much the long term, that's like pretty much the whole story of what we're getting here. But at the same time, we learn so much more about why it's even possible for her to, you know, kind of alter the story, I guess. Oh man, this is gonna hurt. So we get this notion that the Chaos Teller, like the priestess of it all, she really wants to do this because she knew about the Ice Queen and how long she's lived alone, which I thought was a really cool aspect to bring to the story because, like I've been saying when I do reviews on the show, is there's a lot of cruelty and a lot of bad things that happen to these characters because of fate, so to speak. And to be able to just follow that blindly and to never kind of question it seems pretty crazy, but that's what these people do. That's what this whole entire world is about. If you aren't following your book of fate, you're like a degenerate or something, like you're not really welcomed at that point. And that's where this whole notion is coming from, where we see one side of the coin, with the good people, but we never really get to see what kind of transpires for AKA the Ice Queen and her living alone for eternity. Like, but does that give her the right to straight up kidnap somebody and make other people miserable just for her own causes? Really, it's an interesting, like, train of thought because they're trying to kind of bring logic into a fairy tale aspect of the story. So to be fair, it's not, like in her, like for eternity, that's forever and ever and ever. So what does it matter to you if someone suffers for a little bit? You are going to suffer for your whole entire life to be alone and stuff like that. So that's kind of the mood, that's kind of the mindset that was presented because of her cruel fate and her book of fate. And not to mention that that's not even her knowing that the other people's books of faith were pretty much already this. Like, they were in their books that this was going to be something that's going to occur. Sure, they probably didn't want it to happen as soon as it did, but I think that's where the Chaos Teller kind of made everything possible in the long term. So I don't know, man. This show definitely, it feels like all of the battles are very short-lived because they want you to know the story that they're trying to tell, which is fine by me. Like the whole fairy tale aspect. I mean, I'm guessing it cost a bit of money to be able to talk about all of these stories without having any problems with copyright and stuff like that, and actually have the animation and everything already done. People just have to then work on it on what you give them. So it's absolutely crazy to think they have all these stories, and some stories I've never even heard of, and that's what I really want to see in this story is maybe some fairy tales that I've never heard as a kid, or maybe some cruel stories that only really come from different sides of the country. That's really one of the things that kind of excite me about learning anything, that people who actually write and put their true emotions and true events on the page, they get to show you inside of their world, and you kind of just get to get a glimpse in on maybe how they see it all. So with all that being said, everybody, I hope you have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case it is when you're watching this. uh I'm about to probably play a little bit of Anthem, but then call it, because it's just been a long day for me, moving stuff and helping out the fam. So your boy is kind of tired, but I'm definitely going to be getting some more content out to you guys tomorrow. I wanted to at least get one more video out. I know Black Clover is out right now on my channel. If you guys already checked that out, thank you so much. But yeah, the whole entire point of me getting as much content out as I can is this show's going to be back in 3 days. So by the time it comes out and I get to watch it at my own pace and put it out on the channel again, you guys will then have probably on one of the days where I only do one show, you'll get this show. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and that is enough of it for you guys. Or if you want it more, let me know. Um, I'll try to get it out as soon as it drops, type of deal. But yeah, let me know how you feel about this episode. The fighting in this show doesn't really seem all that necessary, because they even brought out the old characters from last week's episode, like Snow White and stuff, and I don't really remember her showing any abilities to be capable of fighting, you know. So for them to choose Snow White and the Queen, or Snow White and the Mother, it's kind of baffling to me. That's why it seemed like the fight was kind of just arbitrary, and it was just there because it was supposed to be there, and the Chaos Tellers are going to fight because their story is not going their way, so they fight for their story to, be better. Yeah, so I'm not really sure. I haven't heard much about the light novels or the mangas or anything else that's came out before this, if there is any other type of source material for this. How the battles are in there might be the exact same as they are in the anime. So, not complaining, just I thought it was interesting that it was so short and actually ended all of that stuff. Like, we got all this story and a fight and solved the problem all in this one episode. So that's not normal, unless they're really trying to get to a certain point of the story that's going to be the long-term part of it. And please let me know how many episodes are actually going to come out with this show, because I haven't got a precise number yet either. So with that being said, everybody, take care and peace. Zawado!